Hey everybody, thanks for joining Mona and Judy, the YouTube lawyer. Hey Mona.
Hi Judy, good to see you.
Yeah, nice to see you.
Are we live?
Yes, we're live now.
Open my thingy.
Okay. Well, there's tons of new news in this whole Dan Markel Adelson saga. So the breaking news is what, Mona? The judge's decision.
Yesterday, Judge Everett almost denied the motion to change venues. So you have it up there. And basically, he said it was too soon to even consider it. And he's of a mind, I'm just paraphrasing, he's of a mind that you hold the trial where the crime was committed and wants to stay by that unless something comes up, I guess, during jury selection where they can convince him otherwise. So he's like 99% in my layman's opinion. How about you, Judy?
Yeah, that's very predictable. That's what people like Tim Jansen have been saying.
Yeah, everybody was saying it's not going to happen, but you never know. Sometimes things don't, in true crime, don't go like how you would think or like.
Yeah.
As evidenced by, in 1 week, it's going to be 11-year anniversary of the attack on Dan Markel in his home, in his driveway. Yeah. So we're here for justice for Dan, for sure. It's nice to have the community. So that's kind of good news, right?
Yeah. Very predictable. He's saying that moving to jury selection from Leon County would reject the capability of all prospective jurors to set aside any preconceived opinions and assure that their verdict will be based solely on the evidence presented. So it says there's a 7-page order, but it doesn't even show up yet.
I know that, yeah, you had said that you didn't see a filing, but that article was out a couple hours ago.
Yeah. So that's frustrating because even as we've seen recently, it seems like things are being filed, but then it takes days before we get to see it on the court records.
To make a sort of joke, it's like we have to wait till it's filtered from the raw data, apparently, like the motion that's before us.
Yeah, it makes you wonder, maybe this case is requiring greater scrutiny from the clerk's office to make sure we don't get some hot off the presses info that might be inflammatory or something or too prejudicial. But it's just weird. It's like, why can't we see it when this got issued?
I'm not sure because I thought Florida had some really a lot of transparency compared to other states. So can't you just get anything? But I guess it's a process, and maybe because we were supposed to see this trial happen a long time ago, maybe they're being extra cautious now, which makes sense. That's why, you see so many extra words in some of these motions.
Yeah. So thanks for telling me about this. See, it takes a whole village of people to get the info out. Are you hearing me reverberating like the volume or something?
No, it's okay. I think it's okay. Does everybody think the sound is okay? I know we have a sound man in the other room. Maybe he can tell me.
Okay. Well, this is a pretty long article. It's from Yahoo. So
it's only a 2-minute read.
Yeah. Let me post it in the chat just in case people want to see the whole thing. Oops, that's a really long URL. But okay, never mind. Just do a search for Yahoo Donna Adelson. And it should come up.
Yeah, I just did a search on Donna Adelson motion hearing, and it came up like right away.
Yeah, same here.
My computer knows that I'm interested in anything that has to do with the Markel case. It will show. I'll be like, how do I make this food? Here's an article on Donna Adelson.
Oh, okay. Yeah, same here. It's like I keep getting stuff just popping up in my YouTube feed.
Right.
So, okay, so we'll take this off the screen, but that's pretty predictable. It's nothing totally surprising, you know. So,
Yeah, the only thing that surprised me is that he didn't say denied. I love when I see denied Stephen Everett with
yeah.
you can see his, you can almost hear his commanding voice when you read
it.
it.
Well, it kind of makes sense. Just wait and see if they can't seat a jury first, and then he could rule something. But I think it's going to stay here. I mean, stay in Leon County. So
yeah, are you going to be able to jump over for a day or two, or is that
yeah, that's the problem. It's like I have real work to do plus a trial myself, so I'm still not sure if I can make it or not, but I'll try. But you know, I don't think I would buy a plane ticket maybe until August though, because the last thing I need is for the trial to get postponed, and then I might lose money again, or you know, have some sort of consequences.
That's true, unless you want to do a family road trip. It's not that far.
No family road trip. Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, this is an interesting question because, you know, people keep mentioning this on YouTube, but I don't see anywhere where it actually said that Donna allegedly put a hit on her son. I think the word used in a legal filing was to harm him. So harm is pretty different from actually wanting to put a hit on someone and kill them. So who knows what harm means?
I'm not. The thing that's so crazy about this case and how long it's been going on, and that we've all been watching this since what, 2018 were the first trials, right?
Well, it's 2019.
Oh, was it 2019?
Yeah.
Wow. Maybe they were just having all those motions to delay then. But it's so crazy how I've been on a lot of different chats at times. And if I ask a question or make a supposition that I have no idea, just something I think, you will find it to be a rumor pretty quickly in a community that's so invested in this case, because you're reading it, you're hearing it, you're watching something, and you're like, oh, that's a thing. But I don't know. We have to be careful. It's bad enough without making it worse with rumor, I think. What do you think?
Yeah, that's why I try to be careful saying things like, this is a rumor, this is what I've heard, this is alleged, you know, because, you know, sometimes things turn out to be false or they're exaggerated. You know, just
we just don't want to give the defense any reason to come back with another expert and put these chatters on Donna's to sue list, which I was going to tell you, if people were watching Judy and I play Donna, we had a to sue list, which I brought out. So this could be evidence.
Yeah.
And then
to show how biased people are.
Right. I noticed that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of our to sue list people are on the state's witness list. So we didn't even get that far, but that's another story.
Okay. Yeah. So I don't have access to the official feed for my channel. And I already scheduled a meeting with his new law school graduate who was supposed to come on and react to part of Harvey Adelson's trial. So it wasn't until just a couple of days ago I heard about this hearing. So I had to ask the guy, can we meet earlier? And then I can watch the hearing. And I'm not sure if Mentor Lawyer needs me to help commentate or do anything for his channel, but maybe we'll have some other live stream this weekend.
Yeah, he's had really good content out lately.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, oh, good. What's happening?
Yeah. And sometimes Sometimes I just tell people, look, just go to Deep Dive True Crime, because he had a good video recently talking about Luis Rivera and the whole issue where Donna Adelson wants to be able to bring up the Latin kings. So I totally agree with him that it's really ridiculous for Donna to want to bring up the Latin kings and Luis Rivera, because during the bump, the guy never said Latin kings. He didn't say,
Right.
yeah.
And nobody had been arrested yet either.
Huh?
What is it? Nobody had been arrested. Is Donna at Mahjong hearing about Latin kings and making these, impressions when she thinks the IRS just handed her a letter? You scared
Yeah.
me.
Yeah. Oh, you scared me. Oh.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, don't be scared. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And she told Charlie it was a white guy. So aren't the Latin Kings a Hispanic group?
Yeah. And that he was well spoken, or, he was wearing like a little vest looking shirt, or, yeah, she didn't seem really scared by him. And he didn't say anything about being a gang member. So what would the Latin Kings have to do with her being so scared that she couldn't go to the police?
Well, I just think it feels to me like there's a lot of what Charlie wanted happening in his mom's case when you start reading things, and the whole Latin King thing and the whole Luis and Charlie stare down. And it was I mean, it really put some flavor into that trial. And Luis, he was not into that, so there isn't really a reason. And we'll probably, I don't think they can sneak it in. I mean, what can can't they say generic gang member type?
Yeah, I thought that was what the judge had ruled in Charlie's case, but remember Rashbaum kept mentioning Latin kings or Aladdin kings, so somehow he got to mention it. But
Tato was getting upset. He felt like he was getting him targeted even worse, because they said something about his location at one point too.
Oh.
Isn't he getting out soon?
Well, that article was wrong, because it said he was going to be moved to state prison on June 30th, but he's obviously still at the Mariana Correctional Place, because that's where the order to transport is directed to. So who knows, maybe they decided to just let him stay there for a little longer.
Maybe
That's where he wanted to.
maybe for protective reasons too.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure the state wants him there at all the possible trials that might be happening, which are this one and possibly two others. Right? They need a guy. And poor Mr. Greiger, he needs to. This has been a lot for him, so he's going to be there again too.
He must be close to 90 years old.
Pat thinks Luis has 7 more years left. I thought it was 12 total.
No, it was 19 total.
Oh, really?
12 years.
But they were letting him serve it concurrently, I believe.
No.
Are you sure?
Supposed to be, yes. That's what I've always heard. He has 19 years total. So that's why he would be in state prison for 7 years. But it could be a little bit shorter, maybe based on his behavior, I suppose. I think that's what Chuck Collins said.
I'm going to I'll look back later and I'll get back to you on that, because there's something in my mind hearing concurrent when at one of the trials, when they were going over his testimony.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, because let's see.
Has everyone in the chat already seen the witness list, or want to go over anybody specific, or everyone on the list? I know I have to wait a little bit for a lag, right?
Yeah. Well, hold on a second. Let me take this off the screen and I just found an article about Luis Rivera's plea deal, which, yeah, they were saying he'll spend an additional 7 years in prison regarding Dan Markel's case.
Starting when?
It was supposed to be 12 years for federal, but I always heard, and this I know for a fact because my former brother-in-law was also sentenced to federal prison, and he only served a fraction of his sentence. So what happened most likely is that his federal sentence got cut down. I think Angela said that he's supposed to be released next year. I think
that's why I really think it was a concurrent situation, which even it made one of the sentences way shorter. But I could be totally wrong.
No, because this article says he's sentenced to 19 years in prison. Right here on the screen.
Is it 12 plus 9 or is it 12?
No, 12 plus 7.
Well, is the 7 concurrent to the 12?
No, it's not concurrent. This article says
consecutive.
An extra 7 years in prison for the Markel murder. And it says here for his cooperation, he was sentenced to 19 years in prison.
I guess that's
part of the deal.
Life.
As part of the deal, he'll serve an additional 7 years on top of his 12-year federal sentence. That's what it says.
I believe it, but I just don't. I wonder what I heard in my Markel brain that he got some concurrent time or something reduced. I don't know.
Maybe that had to do with more federal charges.
Oh, probably. The guy was
he was all into racketeering, drug dealing. Yeah,
that is true.
Okay, so thanks to Google, we can find all this info pretty quickly. So yeah, and speaking of Google, I feel like people who are totally into the case have already seen all this stuff. So I don't know if we have to read through the whole state witness list.
Plus, we don't even know if they're going to use all of them.
Exactly.
I mean, there's so many different investigators if they need, and there are so many different police officers, and there's so many special agents. They might be there in case somebody can't show up for whatever reason. You know what I mean? They all didn't have a minuscule. It's going to be Corbett and he was
Stanford.
Yes, it's the Corbett and Sanford show. And we like seeing them both in their gorgeous blue suits, right?
Yeah. And Bill,
the jury.
Yeah. And Bill Branhan, who is the officer who actually saw Wendi in her car drive up to the crime scene tape and then speed off. So
yes, he did. Didn't he report it right away?
Yeah, yeah.
That's how they tracked it down, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, so that's always a great moment in the trials when this officer gets on stand and talks about how they had all these police patrol cars around there. They had crime scene tape up, and then suddenly he saw this. Was it a burgundy Honda Odyssey minivan?
Yeah, he recognized it. I think
the spot.
Yeah, he was very familiar with the car. And he saw it right away, and he saw her turn around. Or the person, allegedly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, also,
nobody got out to see if a tree had fallen.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was
they don't put up crime scene tape when a tree falls. So, yeah. One thing that I did think about today, I don't think we have Yindra.
She's on this. I will.
Here she is, number 50.
I saw her for sure.
Because about her today.
I just want to point out to anybody that's watching that you had 2 excellent interviews with two of these witnesses.
Thank you. Actually, three, because there was Ryan Fitzpatrick, Yintra, and Stephen Webster.
Oh, Stephen Webster, of course. He's such a great guy and was such a fabulous witness. And if anybody's not aware, he was Dan's last divorce attorney, and he was very knowledgeable about everything and all the things.
Very sincere, very, very concerned, rightly so, about getting justice for Dan. So
the thing that I was interested in, I don't see why they need to bring Catherine McBanowa's brother in, but
he would be a great witness potentially, because he could potentially testify that Donna contacted him to offer to pay for the legal fees, because that's what Katie said.
Do you think that's why Kawas is on the list, to see where she got paid? Is that legal to ask?
Well, I don't think so, but it could. I have no idea why they think Tara Kawas could be useful, unless Donna contacted Tara also. Maybe Donna and Harvey had contacted Tara, because there's no attorney-client privilege between Tara Kawas and Donna or Harvey.
But they can't invade her attorney-client privilege with Katie. And all I could think, it might be some good drama, and Donna could start crying and Tara could start crying, and they could have a little cry fest.
Well, I don't see why Tara Kawas would need to cry in court. I mean, she got paid. She was doing her job. So, if she does have to
she cried more than McBanowa cried.
Yeah, but that was back when she was still bamboozled by Katie and thought that Katie was this pure, innocent young woman who's railroaded.
That would be interesting if that's their tract, to, ask her, given the... No, they can't, because that would be an attorney privilege, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but I said, I'm just guessing, but she could potentially be very valuable if one of the Adelsons had actually contacted her trying to pay for attorney's fees, or maybe making statements that could have sounded incriminating.
Right. Even if she says they didn't because they used some kind of shell company, she can say they tried and she said no thank you, and that wouldn't be...
that's not privilege.
That would be super cool. I wrote when it came, I was wrote little notes on this, and next to Tara Kawas I went, "Oh my God!" exclamation point, and then bump. And I don't think Sigfredo is going to testify. He's never said anything, and there's no reason for him to. Katie's appeals denied, his appeals denied. He, all he can hope for is a transfer to someplace he's not going to get transferred out of, so he can get comfortable. It'll be fun to see the office ladies, the assistant, Erica and Clarissa. That was amazing, their testimony. Do you remember the whole...
Oh, of course. Yeah. Well, they definitely sounded better the last time they were on the stand. But I wonder how they're going to feel being right there in front of Donna, because especially with Erica, it sounded like she was still in touch with Donna, since her name was in the notebook that Donna had. So I don't know. I mean, but Erica already said what she said, so she could still be cross-examined if she
and it could be a different viewpoint of what was going on in that office, because she knew everything that was going on in that office.
Yeah.
Or she wouldn't have called Charlie on the side. Hey, FBI's here.
Yeah. So thank you. Law professor Joe Patuto's here.
Oh,
I thought she was in Italy. So thanks for being here. Yeah, no attorney-client privilege. Yeah, if McBanowa waives it.
And I just want to say to Prof. Joe that not only is she a brilliant legal mind, but when we were chatting before our live, I took her advice and did the eye thing, and she was right about the little makeup trick.
What's the makeup trick?
Said to put light here on the side and dark up there to make your eyes not look droopy. Do my eyes look droopy?
Oh, no, I didn't. I mean, I've never heard of that, but thank you. Yeah. So let's see here.
There's a few people I don't know. I would be so happy if Shadrach Nobles testified again, but I can't imagine what that purpose would be. They must just like rinse and they must have the same witness list and just,
toss in everything. Yeah, just in case they need them. But I don't think Yindra would really be necessary. She was more vital in the case against Katie, talking about her jobs.
I wanted to ask you, Judy, is Robert Swartz the Geek Squad guy? I believe I looked that up.
Yes, I'm pretty sure. Yes.
Now, remember, Donna was the one that made the appointment while she was in Tallahassee, making pretend she was in Miami for the original appointment. So I wonder if they have any of that data, which doesn't look good. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know, but I mean, at least hopefully if he does testify, he can testify that Donna made that appointment, which always sounded kind of weird. It's like, why would her mom need to make this TV repair appointment? So
why would she need mommy and daddy to drive her down to South Florida? Come on.
Yeah, because she's a big baby or something. Like they, as people
allegedly
infantilized her.
Allegedly a big manipulative baby.
Yeah. Well, I also suspect that Donna wanted to make the phone call to the Geek Squad because otherwise, if Wendi called, they would ask her, "What's wrong with your TV?" And then she would have to immediately let them know it has a crack in it. And they would say, "Sorry, we can't help you."
That's some good sleuthing there.
Goes her alibi. Yeah.
I like that. I like the way you think.
Yeah, these are all just our opinions.
We know, yes, everything's just our opinion. We're here for justice for Dan Markel. We don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. That's the motivation for these live streams. And June, we know what she's going to say because she was wasn't she at the party with her when she said Danny's haunting us from the grave, and she was like all nervous and stuff.
Or her eyes were all red. Yeah, I don't know for sure if it was really a party, but June said she was out on the balcony at the condo with Donna one night, and her eyes were all red and swollen, like she had been crying. And she said everything was so terrible that she felt like Dan's back from the grave haunting them or something.
Now, is David Marcus that attorney that had the motion hearing where he didn't want to testify? That name sounded familiar.
Yeah, I think so. People from the chat can correct us.
Yeah, that's where I'm going. Hey,
I think he is.
That was a pretty good hearing. that one, and somebody had asked before, is tomorrow going to be super quick? I have no idea. So I don't. They have to address several motions, and I'm sure there'll be arguments because by the look of this motion that we were going over, there seemed to be a little bit of heat going on with, between the defense and the prosecution. More from the defense. I thought the motion was reasonable, but seeing those back and forth emails like, nah, and you did this, and there were so many extra words and descriptors. Like, I'm going to show the teacher that you're the bad one. You did all these bad things.
Oh, are you talking about that motion about getting raw data from cell phone?
The motion for discovery?
Yeah.
Yeah, the raw data motion, and saying you said this and you didn't do that. And then going, okay, well, maybe you should get an extraction team since there's data on that nobody should see. on a couple of reasons. And then they just kept, I don't think they were listening to each other.
Hmm. Okay. Well, as long as it doesn't create more delay for this trial, that's the focus. It's like I can just see them trying to use this as another excuse as to why the trial should be delayed, because they didn't get all the data in time for their expert to thoroughly take a look at it.
And isn't it interesting that Dan Rashbaum's name isn't in anything, but he's mentioned throughout on both sides, the previous attorney, and the problems with that.
Mhm.
Shouldn't he be on that witness list for something?
I don't think so, because he was Donna's attorney. Or also, like, sometimes people are saying, well, he should be subpoenaed to talk about that fleeing the country type of statement. But
But
I
he
don't
can't.
think so, because, yeah, he was still giving legal advice to Donna, so that there is that attorney-client privilege, even if he wasn't technically hired by her
Right,
for
but
that time.
they had hired him technically for something in
Yeah,
2016.
2016.
So
Yeah.
I think anything from that point, they could argue that there's privilege there. So you just answered my own question.
Yeah.
That's a bummer.
So, yeah, Wendi should be there. She still has that immunity deal going on, so she should still be there as a state witness. And I'm sure it'll be very testy, as usual, between her and the prosecutors, but she has to be there.
I think we're going to see a different Wendi this time. I think Wendi has been, I think her appearance will look very different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she seemed more scared and concerned the last time.
Yeah, she did, but now,
Smiling.
now that she's out of state, she's had allegedly a boyfriend for quite a while. She's with the supportive part of the Adelson family. Remember that guy that fell asleep behind Charlie during the closings where Rashbaum had his fingers up his nose? There's a guy
What?
like this.
Who fell asleep?
You should watch it. It's hysterical. I can't remember the name of that guy, but it's the family person, and he even called him on the jail calls. I just don't recall his name.
Is it Michael Mintz?
Could be, could be.
Oh, I don't know. How did you know who it was?
Because I watched all that stuff, and then I looked up, the Texas family, and then found the name, and then probably looked on LinkedIn or something, or whatever site. Isn't he a dentist or a doctor too, or something? I mean, they're all professionals, I think. I'm just laughing at some of the chat. Yes, look up Mince's face, and then look at the end where, how during George's closing, Rashbaum was like kind of sitting away from Charlie, like the space was getting a little more. There's a guy, like an older guy, just like sleeping. Oh, I lost your voice, Judy.
There was an older man who was there during the trial, but he was a friend of the Markels.
No,
So I don't know if we're
that
talking
one
about,
sitting right behind Charlie.
yeah, I don't know where he
Maybe he
was sitting.
just looks like him. But I know who you mean because I saw Phil talking to somebody when they got up.
Yeah, that's his friend from Canada, maybe. Yeah, I'm
I'm
not
gonna.
sure.
I have to look at, and I don't want to get into the Markel's business. I was almost going to ask you a question.
Yeah.
So does the chat want to hear the motion of to compel discovery, or just chat
I
about?
don't know.
Okay.
Maybe we could. Yeah, I'm gonna have to show it on the screen and pull it up then. Yeah,
I mean, we
because
don't
some of
have
that
to.
stuff is just
We
so
could
boring.
we could summarize it.
Yeah, maybe you can just touch on some of the paragraphs here. So, okay,
Well,
can you see it?
Yeah, I actually have a copy right in front of me.
Oh, thank you.
I'm a
Okay.
boomer, and you sent it to me, so I like to read like books. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I had
Okay.
paper, and I made little notes on some of it. So this is our. He had to. This is defendant's second unopposed motion to compel discovery. Defendant Donna Adelson, blah, 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 charged with, well, I'll read the charges because that's always good. First degree murder, conspiracy to commit first degree murder, solicitation to commit first degree murder, faces a mandatory life sentence if convicted as charged. As this court is aware, the current defense team was retained after the court disqualified prior counsel. Dan Rashbaum, the unknown, the unnamed. This and then to avoid the taint of the conflict found by the court, the current defense team obtained a completely new set of discovery from the state. Unfortunately, this meant we also had to rely, rather than on being able to trust and verify, that the state provided us with everything provided to prior counsel. Since November 2024, very disappointing time that was. The undersigned has been requesting raw, unredacted emails and cellular phone records via email, telephone conversations, and text messages with the state, as well as Sergeant Corbett directly. The state repeatedly stated those materials had been provided. So they were saying they weren't told until April 8th, 2025, that a filter team had been utilized. Remember that whole hullabaloo going on there? And then I guess we found out then that they used a filter team because they had another another wire on, was it Harvey's phone, Judy?
Yeah.
So everybody's upset. This is the layman's terms. So they complained that the raw materials, I'm just shortening a lot of the words, were withheld, and that's why that necessitated a continuance. So the April 21st motion also referenced cellular phone extractions. Then they go on, they're saying the same thing over and over in many points. The state's representations to the undersigned and the court are false. And it's like bold and italicized.
Mhm.
So you can tell the texture of the discourse. While don't you just picture Zellman writing it like this and that and this and that?
Yeah, like getting
Like,
really mad and hot-headed. Yeah.
he was mad. So he says it's false. Then they keep explaining what the expert said. Basically, what they're saying is they have gotten reports and they have gotten partial data, partially because they're not allowed to see anything that happened between a lawyer and a client. That's why they have an extraction team for some of the data. And also, they relied on Cellbrite and maybe some other functions that people downloaded the material onto. And there's lots of whining, explanation of why the defense is angry at the prosecutors. And then we're already on part 19 where they're reiterating why they're mad and you did this and you didn't do that and you said, and we need, and this isn't fair. Is that a good summary? And then
Okay, thank you.
then we're up to 19, and they say when they attempted to depose investigator Newland, then they're talking about the filter team again that wasn't used belonging to our client's husband. I like all these descriptions instead of Mr. Rashbaum, Mr. Adelson. They're like secretive and angry. And then I'm very interested myself, I'm sure the chat is too, on Charlie's iCloud, because we haven't seen that data yet, correct?
That's right.
And they didn't even ask for it until after Donna's arrest, which was bizarre. Anyway, their peeps want raw, unfiltered data. That's what the defense wants. And then they're talking about, it goes on and on. By June 11th, the Undersigned corresponded with the state investigator Newland, and he didn't get back to us for 6 days. And that because they received no response, they sent an email to the state instead of the investigator for the unredacted raw data. We're already to June 17th. Then June 18th, the state advised they were speaking with the state's experts. Then June 24th, the undersigned again followed up. They're getting very frustrated here, further frustrated. So 27 starts with, it's very legal. To make matters worse, the court directly asked the state on April 30th about the raw unredacted emails. And the state misrepresented the facts. So they're going neener again. It seemed a little, I'm not sure because I'm not an attorney, but it felt a little unprofessional in some of the blamey words. And they were a lot of extra words. So then they go, wherefore we respectfully request this data, blah, blah, blah. And then they sign it. And that was Friday, the 27th. And then I love Sarah Dugan emails them. Oh wait, I must have missed one. Judy, where do the emails start?
Are they okay? Let's see here. Oh, here. Okay. Can you see it?
That's what I have, but there had to be one before that. Because why would he start? Why would Sarah start with no, except for the extraction that was subject to the filter team? What is the no in answer?
Oh, it's right there because it's like reverse chronological order.
Oh, does the state oppose the motion to compel? I see. It was bottom first. And I just like Sarah. You could picture her. Couldn't you, writing her emails going here.
Yeah.
Okay, so she's like, no, as I mentioned earlier. So she's getting a little snicky. I think everybody's feeling the stress. And then, is it the state's position we need a filter team for our own clients' phones, devices? And wouldn't they, because of the mess with the previous council? Like, they're not allowed to have any of the data that was extracted by Rashbaum, right? Because they had to start fresh.
Yeah, that's what I'm.
That's what I didn't understand.
I don't know for sure.
Yeah, you should have like everything brand new and fresh.
Yeah, get your new experts, new team to review
and do it. Yeah, remember they wanted the investigator, and Judge Everett went, nuh-uh.
Yeah. Well, I thought for one of the investigators, I thought the judge did say it was okay.
It was the original team, but then they brought somebody else in, and he said okay. But basically, everybody's mad. They want their raw data. Where is it our client's position? Oh, that's where so they're going, does the state oppose a motion to compel the raw data? Is the state's position, so now he's like laying it out again and again. Our client's device or devices, Harvey Adelson's, they use his name, device or devices, even though Newland told us on April 8th that no filter team was used for his devices. Wendi Adelson's cell phone, even though no filter team was used in 2014. Charlie Adelson's iCloud return, even though no filter team was used in April 2016. Thank you, Josh. Do we have more after that? Let's see. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying not to show them all because YouTube might like do something to the live stream or the video later if it turns out you show people's emails or phone numbers or whatever
Okay, well,
contact info.
I can, yeah, that's a good point. So Sarah writes, it's my understanding we had to use a filter team because of the confidential info in many of these extractions. So I think you'll need to get a court order to get the data and a filter team for the data. And I don't think that was snicky. I think she was trying to be correct, and they don't want any more delays or show up to trial and then it's called off. They of course don't want any appellate issues if everything wasn't done correctly. And then this is my favorite one. This is from Chris Corbett. Greetings. I have been advised there may be some additional direction regarding from these items from SAO. I am aware of the specifics of your request, and we do have the raw data extractions. Once I have that direction, I'll proceed. Looking forward to working with you, Josiah and Kelsey! Exclamation point. Thanks, Chris. So now it's getting nice, and he's just like, I'm waiting for orders. I have what you need, but not releasing it without the proper. And then now they're all, good afternoon, Sarah, Jason, Chris. As you know, we requested specifically, and then they list all the data from all the devices that they want, which is Wendy's phone, Donna's phone. And then they write, this is reported as Harvey's phone, but the content indicates it's Donna's.
Okay.
Harvey, Donna.
Yeah, see how enmeshed they are? They do everything together.
Harvey's iPhone, Donna's iPhone. Donna had a 13. Wendy, they want Wendy's 4, but they didn't do a full extraction on hers, we found out. That's a bummer.
Yeah.
Donna had 2, a 13 and a 14. Harvey had a 14, and then they have Charlie's Apple warrant returned, which I would read that for like a nighttime pleasure reading.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you see some YouTuber made this comment saying, like, if the defense is saying that it's going to take them so long to read through all these emails and data, they should just turn it over to those YouTubers and we'll have it done.
I didn't hear that. That's hysterical. What was that?
Because we're on the case.
No, we can't though, because then we'll have, right, because on our to sue list, YouTubers and chatters. Aren't you glad I preserved this?
Yes, that's a great
Donna wrote that.
That was so funny. Yeah, there were some jokes that you made that I didn't really get or appreciate until I watched on replay. Like when you were talking like, there's nothing wrong with a family meeting by the water. Lots of people sit by the water when they live next to the water.
Yeah, we definitely entertain ourselves. I do not stop laughing listening to your improv. I'm like, oh my God, and your truth to character is just amazing. You're immovable. Once a character is in you, you should maybe play Harvey.
No, luckily I have some more fun, informative stuff in the works, and Steve Cohen has agreed to play Harvey. So let's all look forward to that.
Oh, that would be so funny. And you know what's going to happen, though? The whole time his phone will be dinging because he doesn't know how to turn it.
Oh, yeah. I'll be sure to tell him, keep that phone turned off or keep it far away. No more.
No, it was on his computer, too. He had all his
computers.
I think so, because he was like, I don't know why it was very funny, though.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, let's see some fun pictures here because I pulled them up. Those people, the jail inmates that they want to depose. So we can see here, this is actually a good picture of Drina Bernhardt, who is supposedly the jailhouse snitch that got paid for the painting.
Her up, believe it or not, and saw that she hadn't posted anything on Facebook since 2020, but she had some very artsy pictures up there.
Oh.
So
did she draw them?
No,
Oh.
just filters and effects.
Well,
But
she actually looks good in this picture, but this is also from 10 years ago or so.
yeah, she looks
And
pretty happy.
yeah, you feel sad for her, but boy, she must have some serious issues because she keeps getting arrested for all sorts of stuff. So let me see what I wanted to show. Let me take that off the screen.
I agree with Barbara, but Katie's different every single trial. She gets a little better with each one.
Yeah, take a wow. When I saw this, I was like, oh my gosh, how could somebody have so many criminal charges? This is crazy. Look at that. It starts from 2007
I
with,
have to make it bigger.
oh, okay, I'm sorry. I don't
No,
know
it's
how to
okay.
make this bigger. But first in 2007, she had obtaining or attempting to obtain a controlled substance by forgery, misrepresentation,
Oh,
fraud.
she must have done it at a pharmacy then. If it's
Yeah, like forged prescriptions.
yeah, she probably got it from Charlie's office.
Yeah, no, I'm sure Charlie would have done it for her so she wouldn't have to forge it.
Oh, no, he would just sell it out the back of his trunk with
Yeah,
the rest of
yeah.
his with his roids.
As long as he got paid in cash. Yeah. So then she also got the same charge in 2008. And then what else happened to her?
Wow. So she didn't learn.
Yeah, fraud, obtaining a controlled substance over and over, dealing in stolen property, defrauding a pawnbroker.
And is this one of the two women that Donna wanted desperately to back her up?
No, no,
Oh,
that was Cassidy and a different Brittany. See, I remember these names. Cassidy, was it Conroy or something? And Brittany something, where she says, Brittany is homeless. We won't be able to find her. She'll be out on the streets. You know.
I do remember that. We need it now.
Yeah,
Judge.
gotta take her
We need
deposition
it now, Your Honor, like today,
right after,
like 5
right
minutes,
after
maybe
I
tomorrow.
browbeat her over the head with a script
Right.
before she forgets her script.
Was there anyone on this list that surprised you on the witness list, or that you especially look forward to hearing their testimony?
Oh, well, let me take this off the screen. I'm sure people get an idea of what Drina Bernhardt's criminal record is. Well, I'm really
I'm sure they'll
surprised.
show that on the jumbotron in the courtroom.
I'm sure Donna's attorneys will bring up all this stuff, all these convictions, and, show her to be a very dishonest person. But that's why I think it's so important that if it's true, they got some wiretap calls potentially between this person and Harvey, right? Because they wiretapped Harvey's phone.
Yeah,
So,
I'm sure Donna had given him instructions, and I would imagine that she might have passed him some notes through the lawyers, you know?
yeah, probably because I mean, we're just guessing again. I'm sure the
Right.
defense would
We're
deny it.
not sure, but we're supposing, allegedly. What do you say, allegedly every other word?
Yeah, allegedly, just in our opinion. Yeah.
The name of this live is allegedly,
Yeah.
except for the data that's on the documents.
Yeah. Well, let's see. I'm not sure who or why this Patricia Bird is relevant unless she knows something about Katie or knows something about Donna. So
You
that's
know,
the other person they're deposing next week.
I was wondering if some of these people, the defense is deposing them, correct?
Yeah.
So they might be witness to the toothbrush attack or the shower tushy touch.
Yeah, but they're listed as state witnesses, so you assume they have something good for the state against
Yeah.
Donna. Yeah, but
Maybe
I
that
don't know.
nobody ever touched her when she was brushing her teeth or bending
Yeah,
over in the
that's
shower.
right. Or that Donna tried to get Patricia to lie for her, or
Right.
that Patricia heard Katie say something that
Or
is actually,
maybe they found out that Donna was bribing people with like the whole shebang chips or some money for the canteen.
yeah, and paintings. Once they get out of jail, they'll get a
The painting
wonderful
was the
painting.
weirdest.
Yeah.
Maybe there's something. I watch too much crime. Maybe there's something if you take the painting off of the frame, behind the frame, where the money is stashed.
Yeah, yeah, people
Stapled.
were
It's
saying that.
stapled money, right?
Yeah. So this is Patricia Bird's criminal record from Leon County, where she doesn't have as much stuff as Drina does, but she
Yeah.
has domestic battery, 2003 disorderly conduct, violation of a domestic violence protective order, domestic battery, harassing phone call, grand theft, operating a
Wow.
vehicle without a license, battery, sexual activity
That
with a
sounds rough, man.
teenager. Yeah, human trafficking. That's the last
Whoa.
charge.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's not like drug charges. That's like some violent stuff.
Yeah. I mean, these are the types of people that Donna's been hanging out with in jail.
They're Donna's girls.
Yeah, they're now her girls. Yeah. The girls at the, oh wait, but she's in Wakulla now. So
Right.
she's not in Leon
She's
County.
just sitting in a closet with her little laptop or whatever
And
it
her
is.
spoons.
Her,
Yeah.
right, her spoon that she smuggled in. Right?
Speaking of which, when I went back and watched our comedic live stream, I noticed how you were caressing the banana. We just want to feel good. That's why we had those spoons, and we were naked in the jail cell.
Right under the blanket. The spoons under the blanket.
Okay, some people do not understand what we're laughing about. It's because you missed our awesome, raucous live stream reenactment of Donna Adelson's trial prep. This was
Yeah,
like 2 or 3 weeks ago.
it was we were both Donna in character doing trial prep, just trying to figure out how to best work our image once, because we were wrongfully accused. Everybody's wrongfully accusing us, for heaven's sakes. It's a
Yeah.
tragedy.
Yeah. I also really loved your opening statement for Donna. Do you remember what you said?
I have no idea. I'm just like, I'm jamming with you when we do
No,
this.
you said like, hello, everybody. Thank you, members of the jury. Thank you for being here. This is a travesty of justice. I'm innocent. I don't know what happened, and I'm innocent. Thank you. And then you said,
I don't even remember that.
and I
this
have a degree from Brooklyn Community College.
Oh, yeah, right.
I love that. That was
But it's
hilarious.
true. It's like,
Well, I think it was some sort of state college, right? Like, didn't Donna
I think it was a
graduate
community
from-
college, like
It
with an
was?
AA and early education or something. I don't know.
Oh,
I
okay.
used
I
to,
thought
I could be totally wrong. I used to look things up, but then in my comedic mind, I might be embellishing something of my impression.
yeah. Well, so anyway, maybe Sandra knows the answer. What college did Donna Adelson graduate from? Because I thought it was one of those SUNY New York, whatever state universities.
Could be. Let's see.
Yeah.
Somebody must know, for heaven's sakes.
Yeah, maybe Sandra is out there. She's one of the trivia champions. So let's see. Donna Adelson College.
That's what I'm doing on my phone right now.
I don't know if any article actually said what college she went to.
You know what?
She went to Queens College.
Is that a college or a university?
It says Queens College.
I don't even know what that is. I thought it was Brooklyn.
I've heard of it.
My joke was funnier than the reality. Oh well.
Yeah, it's that big article
That's
from
right.
Miami Herald where she
There's
went to
a
Utah.
Tallahassee paper that has a lot of information. What's the talent? The Democratic or the
Tallahassee Democrat?
I used to get a lot of my background information from reading that Tallahassee local paper.
Yeah. Okay. So this was a really good article. And it also revealed Ben Craper, who is that friend that kept supporting them and saying she's just such a wonderful person. She should get out of jail pending trial.
Was he the one running for something at one point?
Yeah, a long time ago. I mean, I don't think he's a politician anymore. Yeah, Donna went to Queens.
Yeah, it's the
College.
Tallahassee Democrat. That's a very good source for a lot of these articles.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so big thanks, props to Jeff Burlew from the Tallahassee Democrat for all his coverage of this case also. So I don't think he watches our YouTube stuff anyway. Our stuff is too lowbrow and, we're just a bunch of ragtag people out there on YouTube gossiping about stuff. So what do they care about what we have to say until it's time to try to make a motion for transfer of venue?
Right. Yeah, that's not going to happen. I really don't. Did they already tried to get Judge Everett out, right?
Yeah, and that got denied. Court of Appeal denied that.
I'm getting my trials mixed up because I know the judge in the Lori Daybell trial, she tried to recuse him and she was acting pro per. So it was pretty like, because you don't like me, you need to go.
I can tell from your face, the look on your face. You don't like me.
I have no opinion about you.
Yeah. Oh, this is funny. Donna graduated from the University of Wheel of Fortune. Yeah.
That's awesome, Ocean Girl. Yes, she did.
Yeah.
She's a domestic coordinator. She went, that's what her major was. I think they called that home ec back in the day. You're too young for that. They used to make the females take home ec and the males take shop when I was in high school.
Yeah.
And shop would have been cool. Learn how to build things and use the big stuff.
Everybody, you gotta learn how to do stuff with tools.
We had to make a jumper on a sewing machine.
Oh, well, that's kind of like a good skill to have too. I don't know how to make
the only one I ever made. It was
okay. Yeah. Well, Darnay has a question. Wasn't Sigfredo's attorney doing the opposite and not defending him because he wasn't doing anything? Well, I remember Sam Zanganay, he tried to lay the blame on Sigfredo later in the media because he said that his hands were tied because Sigfredo didn't want to point the finger at Katie McManua. So it's hard to really defend someone who is restricting your potential theories or defense theories. So that's what I recall.
I think he did a really decent job for what he was given. Somebody's standing there stoically, giving zero information, refusing to, do any of the blame. It was it's interesting because Sigfredo and Magbanua, they really protected each other to their own demises. If they were both going down, they should have agreed on one. You know what I mean? Let his wife bring his children up or something. But is it Pat Sajak?
Yeah, I heard that Vanna White might be retiring, or there's something about her in the news recently.
Oh, I didn't see
people
that.
are saying Pat Sajak's daughter might be trying to get her job.
I think she was upset because she was paid so much less when I remember reading something about a contract.
Yeah.
That is true. 3D time. They had a great life, and they could have let other people live and have a, I mean, you could have discourse in a family, but you don't have to annihilate them.
Mhm.
You can just not go to the same party, you know, or have 2 birthday parties for each child.
Yeah. Yeah, getting an apartment was out of the question because they were just so dead set on just getting the kids and Wendy to just move down south. They
Well,
couldn't
even
even fathom it,
when you
getting an apartment.
when you think about the whole cascading events that led up to the ultimate demise, um, I think that they were not 100% sure during some of it, because remember the first hitmen took off with their 50 grand, and then they had Tato and Tuto go up allegedly 3 times, not 2. So I'm thinking there were opportunities to rethink things. And I personally believe that the motion for supervised visitation and Dan's girlfriend were the motivating factors for Donna and Wendy to say, do it now when
Mhm.
they were up there. Because didn't they, wasn't there like, you have to do it now, like a phone call or something that was in the testimony? Luis's maybe? Because
Can't
Katie,
remember, but I do remember that no, Sigfredo was the one that told Lewis that they had to go back again. They had to do it. And Lewis also mentioned that they knew Dan was going out of town that weekend. So they had to hurry up and kill him by Friday.
right, and they were, up partying. They were doing coke and weed and liquor all for the whole entire. I don't even
Yeah.
know how. It's just the whole thing is so insane. Getting a speeding ticket and they're wasted and they weren't like pulled over for it. There were so many things that could have gone differently. But like I said, I think that um, Donna's motivation was obviously the motion for supervised visitation. And I think Wendy's motivation was being very jealous of Dan's beautiful, brilliant new girlfriend, because she had mentioned that, like, she said something weird in her interview. She's like beautiful, but she's
She's
50.
beautiful. Yeah, she's
She's
50.
50,
She's
right?
50. Not that you can't be beautiful when you're 50 or something, but she was just seething with jealousy.
If there was something in her that was wavering, I think that put her over the edge because it was getting serious, and I think the kids liked her.
Yeah, because the kids had just met her.
But I mean, can you even
We're
imagine?
talking.
Here's this like upper echelon New York City attorney. I mean, professor at NYC. That's pretty prestigious.
Mhm.
So maybe and Wendy's just doing her half semi professor thing, temporary at Tallahassee.
Mhm. Yeah.
And
Oh,
like everything, she wasn't. Yeah.
yeah. Oh, here's a question. So it's the prosecution that is probably gonna call the Greenhub Bernhardt person and Patricia Bird as witnesses. So I just have no idea, especially as to what Patricia Bird could testify to. But the defense is taking their depositions next week.
Yeah, but you remember that any witness, even if it's going to be a defense witness, the state will usually call so they can control the narrative of what this person has to offer. So they're always going to be on their list, and they're always going to want their own information. That's like every trial I ever watched.
Yeah.
You're shocked at who the state calls sometimes. You're like, whoa. But then it makes sense that they want to control the narrative.
Mhm. Yeah. Well, also, you had asked before, who are some witnesses I'm surprised to see
Hmm.
or that I'm looking forward to seeing? Well, definitely for me, it's Scott Radius and Rob Adelson, because we don't know what they're going to say, but they must have tons of information. Yeah. What about
I
you?
don't, they would, but I don't think Rob will be called unless they need a rebuttal. Didn't they say that in a motion one day? Like, we're not planning on, when they had that behind camera, on camera secret,
Oh,
rebuttal.
yeah. Yeah. There was
And
some
then
secret here.
I think I recall Sarah saying we're not planning on calling him unless or for rebuttal,
Oh,
because they were
okay.
really upset about the information that he could possibly have, which is basically character assassination.
Hmm.
I hope he doesn't have to for his own, his own well-being. That
Mhm.
no matter what happened, that's going to be really hard on him, and then he's going to be in the public eye.
Hmm. Yeah. So, well, we'll have to see, because I still think that it would be good for the state to call Sarah Youssef as a witness. And there was a motion where, according to the defense, the state had already said they don't plan to call Sarah. But why
Well,
wouldn't they? She sounds like she could be a great witness.
I got my trials mixed up. John Smith told me that was
Oh,
Charlie.
what? Oh, that was in Charlie's.
I'm like,
Okay.
I specifically like recalled like the prosecutor saying we're not going to call him.
Oh, okay. Well, I kind of think he could
I
be a
think for
great
Donna
witness.
they could, because he was there at the birthday party at the paella fiesta,
Uh-huh.
and
Yeah.
then he was there going, what happened to Dan, and they all didn't want to talk to him, and that's pretty compelling evidence that something was amiss. Like, he's one of five, and four of his family members don't want to talk about a crazy murder that happened in their close family.
Yeah, they don't care. They don't care about calling the police or checking to see what's going on with the investigation. And I think Rob can also testify about what was going on before Dan was killed. Like how angry Donna and Wendy were, how much the whole family hated Dan Markel and really desperately wanted Wendy to be able to move with the kids. So
Yeah, I mean,
that's why I think Rob is a great witness.
I think he will be a great witness, and I hope they do use him in their case in chief. But who did I really do hope they call Kawas, because I just think it would be good entertainment. And that other
Yeah,
attorney, Marcus, that didn't want to, you know, be there. And I don't see them calling Shadrick because there's no reason to. He was just partying. And there was somebody else that I was super interested in. Well, we know that June's going to be a star witness because she always brings something to every trial.
yeah. Hopefully she'll know how to get to the courtroom on time.
And I think Stephen Webster is going to be fabulous again. He's so well spoken, he's so intelligent, and he's just so honest. I think it'd be very difficult for a jury to not get a good picture through his eyes and his witnessing at the very end and his first thoughts. I mean, after he found out. And then I'm super interested in hearing Sarah Youssef, but I wonder if they're going to save her for Wendy's trial.
But remember, based on how the previous trial went, Wendy was trying to minimize any sort of tension between Donna and Dan prior to Dan's murder. So what Sarah could potentially say could refute that it wasn't like some wonderful banana bread exchanging, loving relationship.
Right. And
She was still bitter and angry.
she was in the family home quite a few times too. So she might have a lot to bring to the party. And maybe it's like how Katie got to be better in Charlie's, and she'll be better in Donna's, and if Sarah testifies, she'll be good and she'll be better in Wendy's, potentially, allegedly.
Yeah, I hope so. But Sarah has also already been deposed, and she didn't really say tons of bad things against Donna plus Wendi. So that's what kind of stinks, is that it was a little bit of a downer to see Sarah's deposition. To
I
me,
have a question for the attorney in this room. When a witness is deposed and then they testify, does the testimony have to only encompass?
oh,
Okay, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, so they could say more stuff, which is
Right.
great. But on the other hand, it's very fact specific. But for example, the defense could potentially say, but you didn't mention this at all during your deposition when I asked you, all the times that you had talked to so and so, or, if you thought of any
I
other
know they could.
situations.
I think Donna's got a good defense, like a good defense team. I think they are really trying hard for her. So I could see them trying to take it apart, but you could easily say, I wasn't asked that specific question.
Yeah, or I've remembered it later. I couldn't
After
remember
sitting
it.
in that room, I started
Being
having
stressed out.
memories return or whatever.
Yeah,
But I think it could be better than, the disappointing non-informative proffer. It's not a proffer unless you're a criminal, right?
Yeah, that's right. A deposition is totally different from a proffer.
You'd think I'd know because I was deposed twice in my life, and I really didn't like it. It was so uncomfortable.
Oh, was it like a medical malpractice case?
No, it was something that happened at my kids' elementary school because I was on all these committees about a principal in a meeting gave somebody's like private health information out that worked there, and it was something that would make people feel very prejudiced against them at the time. And this weird guy like showed up at my door and handed me the thing, and then I had to go to his office. It was just awful. And then a medical malpractice suit, but for a family member. That was rough.
Oh, okay. Do you have to get going?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, I probably should get going soon, but let's answer a few more questions if that's okay. Yeah. So I do wonder if Rob's wife observed anything, but I'm kind of guessing she probably didn't, because the state has never listed her as a potential witness. And it sounded like Donna didn't really like her because she tried to interfere with her son being with this woman. So it seems like they had a very detached relationship. I don't think that Rob's wife observed much.
Although, remember, they got back together. They became supportive, and there was all those pictures,
Wedding pictures.
wedding with the dot and the sorry.
Yeah.
I wonder. Yeah, I can't imagine there would be much, but you never know, because she was at Harvey's party too. Who knows what anybody overheard at that infamous 70-year-old birthday party? That I hope I got him a gift.
Yeah. Well, I think it'll be funny if Rob can also testify that there was no paella, or the paella was not the birthday gift. That's ridiculous. We don't give paella as birthday gifts. That's stupid. Yeah. So, yeah, that's right. Donna never mentioned Rob's children.
I know. Isn't that so crazy? I wonder how, I mean, you just can imagine how the family felt with their children, them not being supported, almost not being together, and their children not being cared about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Hopefully, the maternal grandparents have totally stepped up to the plate to give those kids some attention.
Do you know how Charlie's appeal is going?
Um, Yeah, so the state has a deadline sometime in August to file a reply brief, and then we'll just have to wait and see. Wait and probably sometime next year we'll hear about Charlie's appeal.
Why does something always happen at the time of his mother's trials so that he can't really testify if he doesn't want to, right? Because of his appeal? Can't he not say anything?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, but for some reason they still transported him all the way to Tallahassee the last time to testify. Was that the first trial? Yeah, I think that's the first trial date for Donna last September.
Yeah, remember they were all in town. It was like all the all
Yeah,
the, all the
the family's
jailbirds were
back.
in holding, right?
Yeah, it's like a family reunion. Yeah. So, okay. Yeah, thank you guys for being here. As you can tell, my voice is all croaky now. I think I overdid it with the Charlie Adelson jail call reading. Yeah, but let me see here. Okay. On attacking Rob's wife for acting. Oh, did that happen? I didn't know about that. Do you know about this?
No.
Donna attacked Rob's wife for acting nice towards Donna.
So she was mad at her for being nice to her?
I don't know. I've never heard that, but if that's true, that's bizarre. But she is kind
Wow.
of a weird person. Yeah. Yeah. Do you think they'll arrest her immediately? Well, I would like that to happen, but I see it more likely they would wait until after Donna gets convicted. What do you think?
I would love to see that. I have imagined it. I don't think, given what they've done, I believe you're right. She will have to be convicted. So if Wendi beats it out of town and swims across the border while the rest of her mom's trial is going on, I don't know.
Mhm.
I mean,
Yeah.
do they have to pay for her to travel to Tallahassee and stay there as a witness?
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, because Yintra and Ryan did say that the state made the arrangements for their flights and hotel stays. But who knows? Maybe Wendy would just say, I'll do it myself and I'll pay for it myself so she can stay in a hotel of her choice,
Oh,
right? Because
instead of the Holiday Inn with the other witnesses.
yeah, I'm sure she doesn't want to be with all the other trial witnesses in the same
And they all
family.
wind up at the airport at the same time being picked up by the same driver.
Yeah, no, I'm sure she'll do things her way. Yeah, she apparently has money to pay for a better hotel. So,
Somebody asked earlier if we thought the Adelsons were burning through their money, and they must be with Charlie's expensive appellate attorney and Donna's now third attorney. She has three now. She had Rashbaum, and then who did she have?
it was Alex Morris
Oh,
and
right.
then Adam Komisar.
Oh, but he was just placed there because he happened to be in the building and they needed him
I
by.
guess. I don't know. He was like the attorney just for like a fraction of time.
Right,
Yeah.
because he had to say something that was not tainted. It really
Yeah.
looks like they're like, "Hey, you, come here."
Come on over here. You want to
Read
make a
this.
quick $1,000? Okay. I'm just joking. I don't know.
Well, also,
But
I don't know. I think I remember. Um, I think Tim was aware of who he was at the time when he just showed up. I think he used to work for him, and
yes. Yeah, he mentioned that. Yeah. And she had Marisol at the beginning. So there's Marisol Descalzo.
that yeah, what she went for two like financial attorneys that didn't do too well, like first Rashbaum.
Or healthcare law, white collar crime.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
why isn't anybody from that one hearing there? That would be fun. Maybe it's on the defense list. You know,
Who?
from
What?
when Donna was treated badly and she was in lockup and they had with Marisol that hearing.
Mhm.
This is Adelson. Let your lawyer speak for you.
Oh yeah, yeah, that was funny.
That was
Yeah,
wild.
yeah. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe they'll have Jeff focus more on whatever his interactions were with Donna. You know, like how much he knew about Donna being angry at Dan and any comments that he might have overheard from Donna about, you know, hating Tallahassee and gotta get Wendi and the kids out of here. And Dan Markel's a religious, abusive nut. You know, whatever Donna might have said in Jeff's presence would probably be helpful.
I wonder if they have more emails that Charlie wrote that we'll get to hear. That email testimony is pretty good.
Yeah, I like seeing the emails, especially since they got like a big bumper crop of emails since last year. Yeah.
A bumper crop.
Yeah.
Yeah, 3D time thought Rashbaum and the jury specialist were a waste of money. Do you think that the Adelsons got refunded anything after the whole Rashbaum incident? Because
I don't know. I mean,
he
that's like
was
a private
assuring
matter.
them, he was going, don't worry, don't worry, don't worry, until he was scared for his own license. And when I recuse myself for conflict of interest that you've been asking me for how many months? That was
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah. Okay. Well, just trying to get through some of these things. Yeah, I don't think Rashbaum would pay her back until, I mean, unless the state part forced him to. Yeah. So, Graper, hey, the defense witness list still hasn't been made public. I thought that it would have been up by now, but
Yeah, it was only,
maybe,
well, they're waiting for their continuance.
yeah. Well, I have a feeling once again the clerk's office is just not making these things public as soon as they get filed. So maybe it has been filed.
Do you know who Mary Hull is? I didn't know that name.
Yeah, that's the forensic accountant who's such a
Oh, okay.
wonderful witness.
I do
Yeah.
actually remember her now. Like,
She was
oh, the
great.
forensic account. Yes, all the professionals were excellent.
Mhm.
Well, and they're very good with the jury. I'm trying to see if there was anybody else that I was surprised about or couldn't find out. I did enjoy a lot of these witnesses in other trials.
Yeah, yeah. Although, you know, just based on how Ryan and Yindra discussed it, being a witness having to travel is a total pain, you know, because they didn't know till the last second that they had to get on a flight and, you know, not have enough sleep, just fly out
Yeah, that's
at 6
crazy.
in the morning.
And then you have to wait on that bench forever.
Yeah,
In the
yeah.
hallway,
So
right?
it just sounded very stressful, and you're sleep deprived and stressed out. Yeah. Oh, thank you for watching my Josh Dubin short. That was the one that was set to "Let's Get Physical" by Olivia Newton-John and Bust a Move.
That's so funny. He seemed like angry.
And he seemed kind of like menacing and just like this like
No,
nasty type of menacing person, like you said.
he looked like he was going to challenge you to like a fight, not tell me about yourself. That was crazy. I don't think that worked for them at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and
So
George just being all, hey, hi,
yeah.
y'all.
Well, great point here from Armand Fence that I think it was a text where Charlie was texting Donna, just kind of jokingly saying, like, well, for all we know, Dan Markel could have been killed because he didn't pay his drug dealer on time. Isn't that what, do you recall that?
I
That was
don't
a big
remember
deal.
that. That's so crazy.
Yeah. So it's like,
I
okay,
mean,
well,
Charlie,
you don't even know, what happened to Dan, then who are you to say you were being extorted after Sigfredo and Katie killed him, or Sigfredo and the gang members killed Dan?
I don't know about you, Judy, but I imagine that 18 months of Charlie sitting on his little metal bed, coming up with this brilliant extortion theory. He was just so pleased with himself over that.
Yeah.
That's the only part of the trial I didn't watch in its entirety, is I couldn't listen to his testimony. I just couldn't. I after like an hour or two, I was like, oh.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure Donna's going to testify. That's going to be pretty crazy, right? That's something we have to watch.
She has to.
Yeah.
And I think she would think she could. She is articulate, and she probably thinks she can, to maybe get a 97%.
Yeah, just like give this big sob story about how she just listened to what her son told her, and Charlie told her she had to write these checks to Katie, and so she was okay with that. So
The only thing she's guilty of is she loves too much.
that's right. She's just a loving bubby. Right? I finally learned to pronounce it right. It's not booby.
Right? It's not booby.
Booby.
Booby. Bubby. Bubby, like Bub. Hey, Bubbo. Yeah.
Okay. I do have to get going. It is so late and I still have more work to do as usual. So thank you guys for being here. And Mona, it's great to talk to you. So nice to find someone who just is so obsessed with this case.
Yes, I think we're all here for justice for Dan. And thank you, Judy, for keeping the fire burning, and everybody in the chat and everybody that'll watch later. And if you have a mind to, hit like and subscribe and support AA Legal Focus, and we'll get some more content.
Well, Mona, do you think you're going to start a YouTube channel?
No.
Really?
Don't you think it's hard?
It is, but aren't you retired? You're retired.
That I am, but I still make pretend I'm going to go back to work in my mind. I just re-upped my license this year for another 2 years. I don't think I'm going to do that. I just think I would become too engaged it's hard to describe. But I know it's a lot of work, and then I would want to figure out how to make certain editing videos, and then I would just start buying a whole bunch of stuff, and then my beach walks would be turning into on the internet.
It is true, because once I started doing YouTube, I found myself spending so much more and more time watching YouTube and being online, to the point where sometimes my hand hurts because I'm holding my phone too much. So it is kind of bad for you once you start doing YouTube. It becomes a big time sink.
Yeah, I will just watch the channels that I like, which are a few, and yours, of course, because you are amazing, talented, brilliant, and so freaking.
Thank you.
I will never forget Marty walking in going, "What is that?" When I was just like watching one of your live singing videos
Turn that racket off. Why are you watching this crazy
He just had no idea. What are you doing?
And speaking of crazy person, I have to thank Mona again for giving me these fake rubbery handcuffs, which came in handy during that Charlie Adelson jail call reenactment.
That's hysterical. That's hysterical.
Yeah, Mona sent me this. She said,
that they feel so icky. I was like, ew, they're too soft.
Yeah, they're kind of like gooey jelly-like material that's sticky. Yeah, but thank you. See, this is what. Yeah, these are the props we have to get once we cover the Donna Adelson, Dan Markel case.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so have a good night, you guys, and I'll do a live tomorrow at 11, assuming my voice holds up, with a young lawyer friend who's going to do some commentary on part of Charlie Adelson's trial, and then hopefully I can recruit someone to talk with me this weekend to do something reacting to the hearing. We'll see how exciting that is. Yeah.
Sounds
So
great. Thank you so much.
okay, thank you. Have a good night. Good night,
Have a great night,
everybody. Thank
everybody.
you.
Bye bye.
Thanks.
I hope your voice feels